Ryujum is standing there looking like a total final boss in a casual shirt, while poor Junho is on the floor wondering if his life subscription just got a free trial extension. The dealer in the gray suit is looking at Ryujum like he's just another NPC, but you can see the confusion in his eyes. Ryugame doesn't even wait for a formal introduction. He just grabs the dealer by the face and asks if this is the bastard causing all the trouble. It's the ultimate flex, treating a professional goon like a misbehaving toddler. But here's where things get interesting. We see the dealer's POV, and he's totally blue screen. He was just nodding off, totally oblivious that this train car was the designated trade zone for Team 2. He's annoyed, looking for a brat named Ryujum, and has zero clue that the man of his nightmares is currently holding him like a sack of potatoes. He looks at Ryujum and tries to act tough, asking what the hell he's doing. Ryujum isn't here for the small talk or the mid-tier attitude. He tells the gray suit leader to drop the greetings and get to the point. He demands the newly developed ampoule, looking like he's about to start a server wipe event right then and there. The Team 3 leader realizes that Team 2 hasn't even gotten the goods yet. Ryugame just stands there with his hand out, telling them he has no time either. He's realized these guys knew about the trade, but since the goods aren't here, he needs a different kind of loot. He leans in, his face looking absolutely cold, and asks for the location. The goons are sweating buckets, but they think they're still in the driver's seat. They mention that Team 3 will get the ampoules tomorrow, thinking they can gatekeep the info. But Ryugame is playing a different game. He stares at them, wondering if they've actually fallen for his trap. And this is where things go sideways. Suddenly, their phones start blowing up in notifications. The team leader gets a message in the group chat, and the vibe in the room shifts from tense to terrifying in about 2 seconds. The message tells them to monitor Team 3 strictly, especially the leader, Park Dae. Ryujum realizes something is not right, and the diplomatic phase of this meeting is officially over. Yeah, they should have bailed right here. Ryujum doesn't even give them a second to process the notification. He launches a massive kick that sends a goon flying across the train car. He's apologizing with his mouth, but his feet are delivering pure destruction. He says he has his reasons, but let's be real, he's just enjoying the nerf he's about to hand out. The goons realize their high-tech security training is useless against the Goryeo-era death machine. Ryujum is moving like a blur, treating the train car like his personal gym. One of the Team 3 guys decides he's done playing fair. If it's like this, he thinks he has no choice but to use his power. He pulls out a needle and jams it into his neck. It's a total noob move trying to buff your stats in the middle of a combo. Ryujum just watches, totally unimpressed. He asks if that's the thing, referring to the upgraded ampoule. The goon starts radiating this dark, trashy aura, looking like he's finally ready for his boss fight moment. He gives Ryujum a predatory smile, thinking he's finally reached the MC's level. Ryujum just looks at him and calls it rubbish. He notices the guy's adaptability is good, but in the end, it's still just artificial strength. But then, the other guy in the gray suit decides to join the party. He's standing there acting all polite, claiming his team is far better than Team 3. He pulls out his own ampoule, ready to double team our protagonist. But Ryujum is way too fast. Before the guy can even depress the plunger, Ryujum delivers a strike that shatters the needle into a million pieces. The disrespect is unreal. The guy is staring at his empty hand, totally blue-screened, wondering how someone can move that fast without a buff. But here's where they messed up bad. The two goons realize they can't win solo, so they decide to use the ultimate NPC strategy, the team up. They charge Ryujum together, throwing punches that are crackling with that corrupted orange energy. They're screaming about taking him to the company, thinking they finally created a gap in his defense. The impact is so massive it literally shatters the train windows. Dust and blasts are flying everywhere, and Junho is watching from the corner, his jaw on the floor. He's thinking it's the end, wondering how anyone can survive an attack that outrageous. The goons are standing there huffing and puffing, thinking they've finally nerfed the ancient warrior. But as the smoke clears, Ryujum is still standing. He hasn't even moved an inch. He looks at them with pure pity, saying that old version or new version, it's all the same trash to him. He's had enough of the warm-up. He gives them a grin that says their life subscriptions are about to be cancelled. He says he's still a team leader too, and it's time to end this. He delivers a strike so powerful it doesn't just knock them out, it practically rewrites the laws of physics in that train car. We see a flash of red energy, and the next thing you know, the two elite goons are sent crashing through the interior, their bodies looking like human ragdolls. Ryujum just sits down on the train seat, exhaling a puff of air like he just finished a light jog. He's sitting there looking so fucking cool while Junho just stares at him in pure awe. Cut to outside the train, and the scene is a total victory lap. The two goons are tied up to chairs, looking absolutely pathetic. Daeun is there too, looking at them with a mix of shame and anger. He knows they're definitely losing their jobs after a disaster like this. Ryujom is standing with Daehin and Junho, and the vibe is all business. He tells them the thing called a subway is more complicated than it looks, which is the most ancient warrior thing to say after trashing a train car. They realize these guys aren't going to talk easily. They are elite members who are probably trained to handle a knife to the throat. But Daehin just smirks, saying they have an expert with them. Junho is confused, asking, an expert? Right as the sound of high heels clicking on the pavement echoes through the dark. A woman in a sharp white shirt and a tight skirt walks out of the shadows. It's Yoon Eun-hee, looking like she's about to handle a corporate merger, not an interrogation. Ryujom tells the guys to move, and Eun-hee just struts right past them. She looks at the tied-up goon and asks if she's really supposed to do this in front of everyone. Ryujom just tells her they have no time, so she should hurry up and dig out the information with her illusion spell. Junho's eyes are practically turning into saucers, wondering what kind of illusion spell involves a lady in high heels. Eun-hee just gives a predatory smile, saying, "Heh, fine." She walks up to the terrified goon and literally sits on his lap, leaning in close until their faces are inches apart. She looks him in the eye and tells him to have a fun time with Nuna. The goon is shaking, sweating buckets, as he realizes he's about to enter a world of psychological damage he can't even imagine. Ryujom just watches from the background, knowing that by the time she's done, they'll have every bit of data they need to take down the company. The interrogation is reaching peak levels of weirdness. This goon is trying to act like a total professional, thinking back to his arduous training and that forged mentality he's so proud of. He's telling himself the organization is his top priority and his creed is unbreakable. Yeah, okay, buddy. Keep telling yourself that while Eun-hee is literally rewiring your brain. She's leaning in close, and suddenly, the goon's internal monologue about loyalty starts to glisten and fade. He thinks he's going to protect his organization one last time, but here's where things get absolutely sideways. The creed he was just bragging about? It's getting deleted by a high-tier thirst trap illusion. Suddenly, the cold dark night is gone. Our goon wakes up in a 5-star luxury suite, feeling like he just got a massive lifestyle buff. He's shirtless, confused, and wondering if he's dreaming. Then he sees her. The Nuna from his wildest fantasies is standing there, looking like a total goddess in the morning light. He's completely blue-screened. He asks where he is, and the illusion just tells him to focus on the moment. She's playing him like a fiddle, telling him to focus on what he feels and what he sees. He thinks his blood is boiling from passion, but in reality, his brain is just being hacked by Eun-hee's psychological damage. She leans in and drops the ultimate trade offer. She tells him to give her what she wants, and she'll give him whatever his heart desires. The goon's pupils are literally turning into green swirls. He's gone. His unbreakable creed just got nerfed by a single look from a woman who isn't even really there. Back in the real world, the crew is watching this unfold with a mix of disgust and fascination. The goon's face has turned into a total disaster zone. He's got these glowing green eyes and a creepy blushing smile that says his sanity has officially left the building. Ryujom and the guys are looking at him like he's a bug under a microscope. Eun-hee doesn't waste any time. Now that the mental restraints are snapped like wet noodles, she asks the million-dollar question. She wants to know where the ampoules are. And since our goon is currently living in a dream world, he's ready to spill every secret his organization ever had. He starts babbling about the ampoules being at Director Cha's place, specifically in the basement of his room. The crew is stunned. They've been to that place plenty of times, but they had zero clue there was a secret dungeon underneath it. It's a total game changer for their mission, but Ryujom isn't done with the questions. He wants to know why these trash-tier humans are spreading this poison around the world. He asks if they even know about the side effects. The goon just gives him that lunatic grin, looking like he's totally disconnected from reality. He drops a truth bomb that's honestly sickening. He says that minors are actually the primary target for this new ampoule. They found out that younger subjects are the ideal test subjects for the formula. To this guy, it isn't about science or evolution. It's just about the money. Yeah, they should have bailed right here. Ryujom is looking at this guy with pure hatred, calling him a fucking lunatic. He's ready to end his life subscription on the spot, but Eun-hee stops him. She says it isn't time yet. They still need these mobs for the next phase of the plan. And then comes the most hilarious fail in the history of interrogations. Back in the illusion world, the goon thinks he's finally getting lucky with the Nuna. He's shouting about how he's ready to take what he wants. But in reality, he's actually dry humping the other tied-up goon next to him. The guys watching are absolutely horrified. They're making sounds of pure disgust while the goon is just hee-heeing away, totally oblivious to the fact that he's grinding against a sweaty, gag dude in a suit. It is a total server wipe for his dignity. Everyone is just staring at the floor, wishing they could unsee what just happened. The crew regroups to discuss the infiltration. Ryugom decides they'll leave the goons for now since they can't kill them yet. He starts handing out roles like a raid leader. Park Daehan is tasked with watching over the girl, Dula Bao. Yoon Eun-heo is going to handle the sneaky infiltration. Ryu-jum dismisses himself, and the others wonder what his job is. We see him back at school, but the vibe is heavy. He finds Dula in the hallway, looking sharp in his new uniform and haircut. He drops a name that makes her heart stop, Choi Kyung. He says he heard she's that man's child. Dula's totally rattled. She's wondering how he could possibly have a child, and why Ryujum is bringing this up now. She tries to brush it off, heading to eat with her friends home. But Ryugom is already thinking about the child and what it means for his lady's legacy. He's got that brooding main character energy dialed up to 11. Night falls and the mission officially kicks off. Ryujum is perched on a rooftop with binoculars, watching the street like a hawk. He's got the goon from earlier on a leash. The guy is wearing a hoodie and comms, acting as their proxy to get inside the building. Ryugum tells him to walk more casually and not to let it show that he's on comms. The goon is shaking, terrified of being caught by his own people. He enters the building whispering that the place is totally quiet. He thinks it's going to be an easy win because the executives are away on important missions. But Ryujom spots something through the glass and tells him to wait. Don't look back, Ryujom warns. But it's too late. The elevator doors open and two heavy hitters are standing right behind him. It's Team 1 leader Woo Sung-yuk and Team 2 leader Jo Jin-won. These guys look like they eat gym equipment for breakfast and have zero patience for noobs. The goon is absolutely blue screen. He's wondering why they're back at the company at this hour. Sung-yuk isn't playing games. He notices the goon isn't on a mission and asks why he's wearing comms gear. He even reaches out and pulls the earpiece out of the guy's ear. The tension is hitting a boiling point. Ryujum is watching from the roof, his eyes narrowing as he realizes the plan just hit a massive glitch. He's telling the goon to stay alert, but he knows these team leaders are possessing incredible energy. This isn't just a sneaky mission anymore, it's turning into a boss encounter. But here's where things get interesting. The team leaders don't seem to care that much, telling him to just go ahead. The goon reaches the destination, but he's hit with a new problem. The room is totally empty. He doesn't see any way down to the secret basement he was bragging about earlier. He looks up and sees a vent. Is that the only way, he wonders. He's sweating buckets, thinking about how narrow it's going to be. But he doesn't have to worry. Anya is already in the vents, crawling through the dark like a professional ninja. She's apologizing to Ryujom because she's never actually been in there before. She drops through the ceiling and lands in a crouch, looking like a total OP assassin. She tells Ryugom she's already in. She's looking for the amp holes, but then she stops dead in her tracks. Her eyes widen as she realizes there's something else in the room instead of the drugs. She finds a figure sitting in a chair in the dark. It's not a pile of... It is vials, it's a person. A mysterious voice echoes through the room, sounding way too calm for someone who just had a ninja drop through their ceiling. Eun-hye recognizes the voice immediately. Her blood runs cold as she realizes who's been waiting for her in the dark. It's Cha Ji-yeon-il, the redhead goon with the terrifying aura. He's leaning back, looking totally satisfied with himself, like he knew they were coming the whole time. The trap is sprung, and Eun-hye is standing right in the center of it. It looks like the stealth mission just turned into a fight for survival. Eun-hye is staring at the redhead goon, Cha Ji-yeon-il, and her face is doing a total blue screen. She thought she was being a sneaky ninja, but this guy was already 3 steps ahead, just chilling in the dark like a final boss. He mentions a mysterious woman, and yeah, she realizes her comms weren't as secure as she thought. We see a quick flashback and it's absolute trash behavior. Jeon-deal was out here playing IT support, installing a high-tier wiretap on a phone while acting like a regular NPC. He knew something was fishy with Dae-hin's reports, and decided to set a trap that even a Goryeo Thaumaturge couldn't sniff out. Back in the present, Ryugom is sensing the vibe shift from outside, realizing the mission just hit a massive glitch. It's pointless if they don't secure those ampoules. And now Eun-hye is trapped in a room with a monster. Jeon-il doesn't waste time with a welcome party. He launches an attack that would have nerfed a normal human instantly. Eun-hye isn't just a pretty face though. She hits the illusion spell buff, and the room starts glowing with that toxic green chi. Jeon-il just smirks, calling her an interesting lady like he's watching a street performance. But here's where things get really sideways. He's not alone. Suddenly, the other 2 team leaders, Sang-yuk and Jin-won, step out of the shadows. It's a 3-on-1 mobbing session, and Manhwa realizes her life subscription is in serious jeopardy. They're closing in, looking for an easy win, but they forgot one very important variable. Ryugom crashes the party like a wrecking ball, delivering a kick to one of the leaders that probably sent his soul to the loading screen. He looks at them with pure disrespect, asking if mobbing a woman is the new corporate standard. The redhead goon just stays seated, totally unfazed by the sudden power shift. And this is where things go sideways. Yahello starts trash-talking, wondering how they even found their way to his secret basement. He points out a hidden space behind a display cabinet, acting like he's giving a house tour. But the mood turns salty when Ryujom realizes the apples aren't even there anymore. The organization already hoarded the whole stash. The team leaders start adjusting their strategy, realizing they're not dealing with regular NPCs. Ryugom tells Eunhee to stay focused on escaping, but these guys are faster than they look. They target Inhya immediately, but Ryujom tells her to bend down as he preps a counter buff. Eunhye releases a massive explosion of green energy, a high-level illusion spell that requires an astronomical amount of chi. Even Jianil looks a bit impressed, realizing she just blew her entire mana bar on that one move. She's gasping for air, telling Ryujom she needs time to gather more energy for the next round. But here's where they messed up. Bad. Ryugom basically tells her to go trolling and keep them busy while he handles the heavy lifting. But the Team 2 leader isn't done yet. He pulls out his main weapon, a long staff called a jongbong, and he looks ready to hand out some massive damage. He's giving it his all, swinging that stick like he's trying to delete the pavement. Ryujom warns that this is actually dangerous, but before the staff can connect, Jianil calls for a timeout. He tells everyone to stop the jokes because he wants to have a conversation. He looks at Partey Hin and asks why he'd make such a trashy choice to betray the family. We get a glimpse into the past, back when they actually had a close relationship. They're standing in the rain looking like a pair of regular guys instead of warring warriors. Jeonil tells Daehan it's okay and to take his time explaining why he's throwing his career in the trash. Daehan drops the sob story about his little brother, Min Gook. He mentions that he shared some of his own ampoules with the kid, not realizing the side effects were going to hit so hard. Then, someone else started giving Mingok even newer ampoules, and that's when the kid's condition hit a critical error. Daehan is clutching his fist, saying he did it all to save his brother, but Jianil just starts laughing like a maniac. Yeah, that should have bailed right here. Jianil makes a heart shape with his hands and drops a line that would make anyone's blood boil. He's the one who gave those new ampoules to Mingok. He poisoned the kid just to keep Daehan on a leash. The rage in the room is palpable. Daehan loses it, calling him a motherfucker as he realizes his brother was just an experiment for these lunatics. The team leaders decide it's time to show off their overdose strength, pumping themselves full of the juice until their veins start glowing. Even though they've gained enormous strength, their bodies are basically ticking time bombs. Ryujom is watching the chaos unfold, noticing that Daehan is fighting with everything he has, even as his own body starts to break. The leaders are mocking him, saying he's just showing off with some old formula juice. Ryugom realizes the situation is spiraling out of control. He's sprinting through the city, jumping off bridges and outpacing cars because Daehan's last message sounded incredibly urgent. He doesn't feel good about this vibe shift at all. He's pushing his physical stats to the limit, thinking he needs to speed up before the whole mission gets nerfed. He's flying past digital billboards, eyes fixed on the destination, knowing that the real war is just beginning. The city lights are a blur as the Goriel legend preps for a final collision with the monsters of the modern world.